they have my back all the way, but I think that.
About 2 full years for me to come down from that cloud. After that experience, it was absolutely amazing. We decided not to go to London because we assumed the next one would be back in the States where we live. And London seems pretty expensive, and now here we are. So clearly that worked out well.
The force works in a mysterious way.
It sure does. It sure does. Now I can't wait to find out where we're all going to be going next.
I wonder what.
Yeah, well, I don't have to go all the way.
Thank you.
I know.
Yeah, I think that this might be my favorite celebration that I've been to. And it's not a long list. Like I said, I've only been to 2. But I've never been to Japan before either, and I'm having an incredible time. Incredible time. Like experiencing the culture, experiencing the people, and everyone's been very nice. And
I agree. That's the same for me. Like my first celebration was in London. I wasn't even thinking about going to celebration, and London was. I never went to London as well. I'm from Italy, by the way, so it's very much near. Yeah. No. And so yeah, I was seeing like there were like 5,000 people in London, and
wow.
I met people. I met people that I met on the internet and that I never thought I was gonna ever meet. And now some of them are here. Where's Scott? Yeah, here we go. Hi, Scott. And so yeah, that was amazing. Because the first time it was really great, but this one is so special because we're in Tokyo, Japan. Because I'm with more friends, and I met even more people. Yeah, absolutely, my favorite for sure.
I mean, that's a really good point, and that is the magic of Star Wars right there.
Yeah, that's
been close friends for 5 years. We live on opposite sides of the world, and Star Wars is responsible for all of that.
It's the only thing that I thank COVID for.
Yeah.
Like, I was bored, and I see this guy on YouTube playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. Say, hey, okay. And then I discovered that he play on my sim server. So I say, why not constantly? I have nothing to do. It's Saturday. What I can't go out. I can't go out to take a beer or whatever. And so I after five years, became friends.
That's the real magic of the Force.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know
Friendships and forms.
that some people view like cons and celebrations is just like it's a commercial enterprise, it's just here for people trying to make money, and I just feel like that's not at all been an experience. The people and making friends and trading swag has been so much fun. I love all the swag that people bring in. And,
hopefully everyone got a sticker from outside.
Yeah, make sure you can make 2 if you want. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
It's been interesting because this is my 3rd one in a row, and
Fancy pants over here.
Actually.
Yeah, Anaheim was my first one, which fit perfectly for me because I'm from Los Angeles, and like, there you go. And that was the first time me and Kyle met in person, so like that was a cool thing to be like, we finally, after years of interacting or seeing this stuff, like meet in person. And London was unique because it was the first time I flew international, so I was like, either it's gonna be a fun time or I'm gonna get deported within the first minute I land. But Japan has been so surreal because it's nothing like back home, where it's peaceful. There's such, at least from what I've experienced, respect. And again, to echo Doc, I know, to echo Doc's sentiments. To me, yeah, and bro, oh my gosh, footage or that soccer trailer. But to me, hanging out with y'all, hanging out with some other celebrators in the crowd, that has been such the bliss of like, oh yeah, we like this stuff, but we can spend 3 hours and they feel like 50 minutes like that, just chilling.
I really had a different impression of what Celebration was all about before I attended. I really thought it was just like a really elaborate shopping opportunity. Merchandise exclusives.
Cosplay.
And then, yeah, I've seen some cool cosplays. But now that I'm coming here, I realize it's really just the ultimate like socializing and networking opportunity. I've made so many friends going to Celebration. It's become 90% of what I do here. And then I'm like, oh wait, I forgot to buy something. If I just put con, I'm running trying to find anything to take home as a souvenir. It's just been making lasting memories the whole time.
I'm running late because there's panels and we were talking with new friends, oh my god, oh wait.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I will say is that my imposter syndrome has taken a massive hit during the celebration, because when I make videos, like the way that I kind of talk myself out of having stage fright is I just convince myself, no one's gonna watch this video. making this for fun. And then when I walked into halftime, like I didn't get like 5 feet in the door before someone was like, "You're Katarn." Me? I'm telling me. You know me. Like it was just this bizarre experience, and I'm extremely grateful. It still doesn't quite feel real.
It's surreal for sure.
It's taking its time sinking in. That's what I'll say. Speaking of cosplays, though, have you seen any cool cosplays walking around? Like, do you have a favorite?
Oh,
There's been some
good
awesome,
ones.
awesome
there's
names.
some good ones.
So many.
There was that, the Dia de los Muertos, Padme,
I
that
saw
was
that.
really gorgeous, really
Yeah.
loved that one.
Fantastic.
And all the Chewbacca's. I
Oh
wanted a
my
picture
God.
with the pink Chewbacca, but I didn't get my phone out in time. I don't know if anybody was around yesterday and saw my Garza cosplay, but that was a lot of fun. It was my first time cosplaying, and it was really fun to be stopped. And it's a fun way to interact.
And all
Yeah.
hard work you do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a lot of work. And getting to see other people's cosplays and like all the creativity and the hard work and getting to ask people like, how did you make this? And how long did it take? And yeah. So this one's definitely been a highlight for me for sure.
I think for me it's been seeing all of like the Japanese interpretations.
Yes.
Of characters.
Yeah.
There was a Vader who was dressed like a traditional like kabuki actor, and he had like the helmet on his face paint. Fantastic. It was so creative. It was so cool. There have been some really like obscure like deep cut cosplays as well. Like someone was the pitcher of blue milk that Aunt Blue was pouring. Like the pitcher itself with like blue liquid sloshing around inside.
How about the
Amazing.
extendable lightsaber?
Yes, someone was a lightsaber.
Yeah.
You see that one? Big blade fell off the bottom.
My favorite was the moving droidica. There was a girl
Yes.
dressed as a droidica and she was rolling and then doing
Or the
this.
walker?
That was so funny.
The
That was-
walker?
And the walker too, yeah. Oh my god, that's
The
incredible.
day before we saw the Walker, there were these 3 spotchka farmers from Soria. And I really hope the Walker found them and ruined their day. Have to do it.
Yeah, cosplay is an art form. If any of y'all do cosplay, give yourselves a round of applause. I don't know
Yeah,
how Yeah, it is a remarkable thing. To me, one that like even Steven Stanton was promoting before the film started was someone was going to do AP5 from Rebels, and I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it was the same person I met yesterday. And I was like, oh my god, AP5!
Yeah,
And
that's a good one.
like, and I, you know, it was just very like detail wise, and yeah, it was that one where like, come on, man, I want to see AP5. Damn it. Come on, Ahsoka.
So funny.
That's my favorite scene in all of Rebels. When he's like floating.
Floating, yeah.
He's finally chilled. And
Yeah.
with that disrespectful metal clang sound as he goes through the hangar. Like they don't even slow down. They pick him up like he's space junk. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Poor AP5. Yeah. Oh yeah. So did everyone see the Mandalorian and Grogu sneak peek? You've seen the footage?
Yeah.
Chopper with a minigun.
Dude,
Things I never knew I needed.
I want to just say this for everybody. Sigourney freaking
Oh,
Weaver.
yeah,
yes.
Come on.
Yes.
Long time coming.
Like-
Overdue.
And they put her in a jumpsuit. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing.
As a kid, that would have been the ultimate like team up of like Sigourney Weaver and may she rest in peace, Carrie Fisher teaming up.
Oh my
like,
God, yeah.
So like, and the fact that like in a book or comic they are man teamed up. Like I was like, oh, that was the sweetest moment for me to see that.
We don't know too much about what she's doing, but we know that she's with the New Republic.
And she's a colonel.
Yeah.
And she's a colonel. She got rank, which means Ripley fought for the rebellion.
Yeah.
That's a thing that happened.
I think she did say that like she thought of herself as a rebel always. Like she fell in love with her own immediately because of the way she experienced Star Wars when she first saw it. So that's a good thing. They let her do what she wanted, I guess. Like okay, let's keep you as a rebel.
Do you know the rumor of her name?
No, I have not heard that.
So apparently her name is Colonel Bishop.
Oh,
Bishop,
wow.
so like, it's a deep, again,
I
alien
see what they did
cut,
there.
where it's like Bishop and Alien one, I was just like, I love that. Like, again, what are the grabs for this team? Like, they got Michael Bean already, we had, again, when you recipes Carl Weathers, and it's just like, kind of like, if you have rep and street cred as a nerd, you want to come and hang out with us in Star Wars and just tell a new story, man. Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm very intrigued to see if they're gonna tackle any aspect of like, all right, how is the New Republic now in this movie, and how the remnants are, and how that is gonna be at.
Dude, it's gonna be something that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
We know in the timeline Admiral Akbar is currently in command of the largest navy in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, disarmament hasn't begun yet. They're starting the process, but like, they haven't scuttled the fleet. It's still there.
Right. Okay. So the armies they're dismantling, but the navy's still up.
Yeah, in Mandalorian season 3, we find out that they're working on like
Oh,
mass
right,
disarmament
okay.
because
Now I
they're
remember. Yeah.
militarized.
Okay.
Which again, come on.
But no, but that's why
What are you doing?
I love about Hera, like going after Ziono, being like, "Did you fight in the war?" I'm like, "No, we have to prepare for the worst," and that's something that I remember hearing George Lucas trying to say for what he would have done in the future. He wants to go, "All right, you win the revolution. Now what? What's
Now
the
you gotta
aftermath after that? You have to govern it." And what
War and
happens?
governing are two very different things.
Mm,
Your rebellion is about to find that out.
What happens when you don't, look and listen to history? And it's like how easily Syria just boom, boom, one move and then imperial occupation for almost 2 decades. So I'm very interested to see how that plays out. And yeah, like again, that suit of her wearing the jumpsuit for the opening, I was just like, that's surreal.
I'm so excited for the juxtaposition of like the dynamics of power, the New Republic being larger than the Imperial Remnants, and seeing them on the back foot for once. But are they really gonna be? Because it's Thrawn.
Yeah,
Grand
that's
Admiral Thrawn.
Moriarty.
He's a massive threat. A massive threat. And they were talking about that in the historical panel, saying that like the reason he's so effective as a villain is because he doesn't have the Force. But he's so competent, he can go toe to toe with any opponent because he just has this Moriarty-like intellect. And that's so much scarier than like a space wizard because okay, he's got powers, it makes sense. This guy's just smart. He's just so smart he can just outthink you. He's always 3 steps ahead.
One of the coolest and like almost like creepiest things I had ever seen from Thrawn was in Rebels. After they make an escape, I think it might have been by Hera's homeworld, where he says, "Let them go. They won this battle." And it's just like he wanted to let them go ahead, get away because he knows he's gonna get him in a trap or not. So yeah, and then dude Sam,
Right?
Sam?
Yes.
like what the, like
No, it's gonna be so good. My favorite, I'm glad about that episode. It's actually one of my favorite Thrawn moments in canon is when Lieutenant List talks smack about the Calicori. He's like, "That's just Twilight trash."
Yeah.
And Thrawn almost snaps him in half like a phone book. He's like, "Don't you dare! This is cultural art, and we respect it. We enslaved them, but we respect the art."
so Thrawn. That is so Thrawn.
on Rylan, right? That's,
Oh,
I was
right,
alright, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to all the Twilight stuff.
I think Ezra came to save the day, right? Well, I don't remember exactly the episode, but
Hera like went rogue. She was told not to do it.
Yeah, but
I'm not leaving the Calicori there. That's right. That's when he went undercover as a scout trooper. That's when.
yeah, exactly. That I remember him. You know.
I need to rewatch Rebels. I want to rewatch the whole series before season 2 comes. It's kind of required.
I took into the podcast where they're reacting to the Rebels.
Yeah, Vanessa Marshall does like a Rebels rewatch
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
We just found out about this.
Yeah, I didn't know.
go watch. Go look good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of episodes out, so we're gonna have to go through them
Yeah,
all.
we've been talking about rewatching for a long time.
Yeah,
Also-
Vanessa Marshall's great.
I don't know. I think Farrell said like they're going IMAX with this film. Like they're actually changing the format up to like visualize it more. So how do you guys feel about that?
That's actually a thing because each of these panels has shown like a little segment of past shows, and because the theater stages are so big, it feels like you're in a movie theater. The sound is so loud, the screen's so big. It makes me realize how badly I need to see these Disney Plus shows in a theater. Star Wars hits different on the big screen. It always does.
We need the Nolan experience for Star Wars from now on because now Oppenheimer is out, so you know.
I was at the red carpet premiere for the Acolyte. I got to see the first 2 episodes in the theater. And in the very first episode, when the ship crashes into the planet, it was so loud our chairs were like rumbling. It felt like we were crashing. 40X. It was so immersive and just. No, Star Wars needs to be larger than life. I can't watch it on my phone. I need to watch it on the biggest thing possible. When that Star Wars story goes overhead, you want to like feel the wind.
It is cinema, no? Yeah, it's cinema. It started with cinema with George, and he worked so hard. Yeah, that's absolute cinema. Yeah.
Oh man. So there's 4 of us here, best of friends, having a great time in celebration. And I'm so glad that we all got to be there on the panel together. Like seriously, this is such a special moment for me personally. If you could replace 3 of us with anybody in all the Star Wars world to come in here, who would you pick? Sky's the limit. Anyone. All right, there's the answer right there.
Yeah, real people or?
I don't know, you want chocolate rolling?
I know,
wouldn't say no. I
yeah.
wouldn't say.
Bosk.
Controversial. I'll enjoy it too. And it's okay, I have wiki friends, so I can say that.
This might be like, alright, yeah, but like, I just want to hang out with Peppa Scott. I just want to see
He seems like such a chill dude. I would
Yeah.
love to just kick back with him. Yeah.
And like, alright, tell me, alright, show me some second ones. Like, what outside?
Apparently, he was being interviewed outside, and he accidentally scrolled through a bunch of
Yes.
set photos on his phone.
Yeah, it'd be fun hanging out.
Absolutely.
And for me, I can't decide between Diego Luna or Sam Witwer. Like, I like them both so much, even though like one was, well, Sam is, I discovered Sam's existence through the video game Force Unleashed, yes. I did not play those because it was a time that I wasn't that much online. And when I did saw the footage, I would say, okay, that is a very cool video game. And then I found out that he was the voice of Maul. And I was like, what? I would have never imagined that we were so talented. And that's how I basically kind of fell in love with that.
He really is the definitive voice of Maul, and I think it's kind of a nice symmetry that Ray Park and Sam Witwer together created.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
Maul very much the way James Earl Jones and David Prowse together are like that feels like a very authentic way to portray someone in Star Wars. Like you have these two people working in tandem to create this larger than life character. I am a little sad that this announcement of Shadow Lord kind of does feel like the final nail on the coffin. So
Oh, okay.
I was one of the people that fell out of my seat when that hologram opened up.
I know, I was like,
I was like, wait,
Yes.
what? No, it was fantastic. And I've been wondering how we got from there to what we find in the Rebels.
Cruising Dawn, man. I want to
Like,
see more.
I need to know that story.
Yeah.
How did
We might get there, like discovering how did we get there, you know?
Hope so.
And, you know?
It wasn't talked about really in the announcement, but I have to hope Amelia Clark comes back versus Kira.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we need more Kira. She's
Yeah.
a fantastic character.
And yeah, Kira's a lot in the comics, right? There's an interesting story there.
Kyle, if we got Dave Filoni, tie him up, you think we would break up some stuff one night? Or be like, yeah, I'm not telling you, yeah, that's fine.
If we got Dave here,
Yeah.
I'd probably say with
Probably
Well, it might actually just be the season here.
You need to almost faint when you saw him coming, when you went to the acolyte.
I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared.
You were like there are pictures, you were like,
Yeah, we were interviewing Leslie, and he just sort of like sneaks into the room behind us, and I turn around, and he's like right there.
Extra.
And my friend Connie took a screenshot of that and put it on a shirt for me. I have a shirt of me being on this Dave, just like right next to me.
I want that shirt too.
Oh man. No, I've had a fantastic time here at the con. I think the one thing that I still have to do before I leave today is the pod racing, the virtual pod
Check
racing.
that out, and check that out? No, not yet.
Not yet?
Long
Big
line.
pod racing fan here, big Cibola fan. In fact, the old man Cibola vet. Yes, yes, thank you, Cibola.
Sabula survived. Whatever happened in those movies that he wasn't there, you know?
I'm sorry. He was wrong at the Buddha Classic, all right? You got this human kid on performance-enhancing midichlorians. He just enters the race. No one checks him out.
He was cheating.
No midi-chlorians check was done before that and after that, you know?
No, you don't get race pods like that. The kid was doping. That's all I'm saying. Midichlorians. You should have checked the M count beforehand. Although, if we're going to go down that throat, I mean, like, Ben Quaternaris would have won if he had that technical malfunction. He's got 4 engines. It's funny, he's like a laughing stock, like he's like a meme in the thing. Like, oh, Ben Quaternaris doesn't know what he's doing. Anakin Skywalker has a Ben Quaternaris poster. He's Anakin's favorite pod racer. So I think he really is like a galactic sensation. He just had an off day, and unfortunately, that's the only time we get to see him race. But in my head canon, he's an excellent pod racer. I give him that credit. Maybe undeserved, but I give him that credit.
Do you think we're gonna see more pod racing in the future?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. We did get an episode of The Bad Batch with some racing. It was Riot Racing.
Yeah,
It was kind of like a demolition derby pod racing, which is awesome.
we had a sort of a tiny scene in Book of Boba Fett. There's a Brunta Eve, but inside a city. They're not pod racers. They're like speeders, but still.
Yeah, Bunta is a cultural celebration in Tatooine,
Okay.
and that's when they hold the big race.
Oh, right, okay, fine. I now understand better the
It's
culture.
like a Christmas Eve race, you know, the Gonk Eve flash. Yes, the Armin Studio
Yeah.
one was a race as well. It always circles back to visions. And that's what happens. Just so you know. Rent free in here.
Great.
Yeah, no, we've had such a good time. I think the Ahsoka panel was the most impactful part for me. The tribute to Ray Stevenson, like, brought some
man.
tears to my eyes for sure. And you could tell that Dave Filoni was also like emotional about it. He said, however hard you think it was worse. It was worse. They weren't sure if they were going to be able to continue it first.
Wow.
What an impact! Like 8 episodes, and like I remember he was the talk of the
So he was, for me, he was the break guy.
Santa, yeah.
It was just evil Santa dude.
Evil Santa, I remember
No, it's so good. I'll probably cosplay Balin once I get a break.
No, yeah, you should, like, can you imagine me, Andor and Balin and, I don't know, oh wait, Lady Garza right here. And whatever you want to do, man. Mando, you want to do Mando?
Mando,
And with Ray, you
bring
bring
it.
I gotta get both of them.
Exactly. And all of course, drinking sponge cake.
Yes. That we got back from the ATS. It's still from the Splotch Corners.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
Full circle again. Yeah, we wanted to open up for some Q&A if you guys have any questions for us, anything you want to ask as well. Oh, please.
Do you think there'll be a mention of Abeloth in Ahsoka season 2?
Ooh, okay. That's
a deep cut. That's a deep cut, but you know Filoni knows all about it. You know he does. He's as big a nerd as you and I. So
Bro, like there was a design that I'm pretty sure was from one of his sketches that he had done of like stories that we couldn't make in Clone Wars that was in the trailer one. It was again comic art. I was like, that looks like something he had designed for Clone Wars. So I'm like, Outlaw, that is not a far reach in my opinion. That is.
if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said, no, that's crazy. There's no way. But they brought Star Weirds back into canon in the comics, so I don't think anything's off the table, honestly. Seeing Abeloth in like a high-budget live-action show would be kind of terrifying, actually. I feel like suddenly we jump the rating up to PG-13, at least.
Like, I don't have enough knowledge, unfortunately, of the entirety of the, like, what is not called Legends. So I'm almost glad that I don't know because it was going to be a surprise. Everybody's talking a lot of great things. Apparently, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong because you're like the lore master. I don't know how you guys can please correct me. Like as a Star Wars: The Old Republic player, I got to visit some planets where there's some lore, and one of my favorite planets is Voss, where there is this entity called Soma Core, and that's the closest thing to this Avalon, which is basically a secret dark entity inside this planet, and basically the civilization there is trying to protect the planet from him, and they're keeping in some way, locked in. And there's a whole mystery there. It's very fascinating.
Soma Core is an awesome plot line on Voss. I had a weird time on Voss. I went there with an agent. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I got married.
The answer is
Someone,
yes.
And then there was a diplomatic incident, and then I left really quick.
Yeah, Voss society is complicated. It has a mixture of ancient Japanese culture mixed to, I don't know, whatever is out there in the space, because they were like, you have to follow our rules, like you, because you have to count everything,
Here on the planet, you talk to this guy, like, okay, first you go 50 yards that way and wash your hands.
Yes.
And you go all the way to the other side of the planet, you put a thing.
Thankfully, we have jumped sanitizer here now, so you can do this and then say, arigatou gozaimasu. And that's the same thing in Voss, but it's for the Force.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and you don't talk with the alien, the other aliens. Like, you talk with us, or you can go away. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you for coming.
Right. Hashtag justice for the Gormak, by the way.
The poor Gormans.
Misunderstood. They just want to see the stars. That's all they want. If you don't push the story, you have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah. But now you know how I feel when people talk about Idol. It's like, okay.
But I like that though. Like it's some stuff, and what I appreciate what Mando season 1 did is like there's some deep cut stuff that if you've been a fan since '77, it's a little panel back. But if you haven't, what is Abeloth? Right? There's Google now, so let's find out and see. Wow, that is
But at the same time, if you don't know what Avalon, you're not at a disadvantage
Yeah,
because they do a really good job with exposition showing it to you. It's just like a bonus on top if you read whatever the novel is that we reference.
Mhm.
But it doesn't necessarily, like, you're not really missing out if you don't know that. You can still follow along with the plot. Like, I think it's very important to be able to follow it for the uninitiated as well.
I remember feeling that way when Thrawn was introduced to Rebels, because I always heard of him, but at that time I never read the books.
Oh, interesting.
And then, the show concluded, and then, it was until Fantasy 2 that, like, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? And it was just like, and it was like, sky's the limit of, like,
Jumping around.
heir to the Empire. And so,
Speaking of jumping around the timeline, because he originally shows up in the time that I guess would be Force Awakens now, and then the current canon is about when Heir to the Empire took place. And they took him back a couple times now, he's in Rebels. The new Sean Levy movie, Star Wars Starfighter,
Yeah.
5 years after The Rise of Skywalker. This is going to be our furthest chronological project so far. Wow. I'm wondering if Ryan Gosling is playing Corin Horn. Because Corin Horn was in Kenobi. I don't know if you guys noticed that. He was the small child being smuggled off of Dayu with his mother. In the credits, that's Corin Horn.
They Pat?
Yeah.
As the
No, Kumail Nanjiani's character. When he was the
right.
fake Jedi.
Okay.
The little child in the credits, that's Corin Horn, who is one of the Legends Jedi from Michael Stackpole's X-Men novels.
Okay.
And now we've got Ryan Gosling in a Starfighter thing being the protagonist. Like, the signs are there. The signs are there with those eyes to see. Just saying. I would love it so much if we got Corin Horn. And then slowly, like, he's just drip feeding the Legends characters back into canon. And it doesn't have to be a one-to-one representation. They've done so many changes, I don't think it could be anymore. But that doesn't mean that they have to be fully excluded. Like, case in point, Katarn.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It blew my mind when I say Kuran, which is the master of the father of Katarn.
Katarn's first lightsaber.
Yeah, and so I was like, what? So Katarn is out there?
Well, Kuran is canon again. His name is written on the pad.
Exactly.
On the wall next to Quinlan Vos, which means he survived.
Exactly. And so some things of the comics are kind of true. I don't know the whole certain. And yeah, of course.
It is, at the end of the day, it's all just work.
Yeah. If there were other questions, and we were lost. Okay.
Do you guys think Rogue should have saved Luke?
Ooh. That would have been cool. That would have been a complete reversal of, that would be a good way to subvert the expectations, because when Luke shows up, you're like, okay, he's here to save the day. That would have been kind of hilarious if he you just can't handle the Death Troopers. There's just too much going, just a couple too many for him. And then Grogu just crunches the last one. That would be kind of cool. Grogu has a fascinating trajectory, and I really think that he is the future of this new time period. I think that we're going to see him next to Rey in Rey's movie as, like, I don't know, a spunky teenager or something. He's finally talking. He's got some attitude,
The years are there.
A little rebellious.
I mean, he's gonna survive Rey, but she's gonna be older because she's human though. So who knows? I guess.
I can't think about it too much because it breaks my heart, because you know that his lifespan is going to be lifted and jarred by so much. Like, eventually we're going to get that story.
I like the Yoda species because, especially Grogu, because though Yoda, he represents like the good old sage, the good old wise man, the wise master. Grogu is the new, is the old wisdom meeting the new times, and it's like, okay, let's bring what worked until now in the galaxy, and let's see what is the future of the society of the galaxy that needs. What the new people coming in this universe, and in this case the new fans of Star Wars, what can they learn from what we learned until now?
I think in this day and age, it is really easy to have leaks on your set, like the internet, information age. News travels so fast, and the fact that Grogu was an absolute secret until that premiere is actually insanely impressive. For one thing, he's a puppet. He doesn't have an agent. So there's no call sheet to because a lot of times that's how you get the information. It's like logistical information. Oh, this actor's going to be on this set. Contextually,
or merch.
figure it out.
Or merch.
Or on merch.
Kudos to Disney. They're like, no merch out, and I'm just like, which feels like, again, like 77, where they didn't have merch. It's like, you gotta wait a year.
They put such a tight lid on that.
Kudos, man.
Now get those guys.
Yeah.
The loaf balls, as they call them.
And all the kids in the one after the
Yes, yeah, that's exactly right. The funny thing about the low falls, and they were talking about that in the Ahsoka panel about how whenever Dave would bring his dog to set, he would like try and attack Merly, the Sabine's low cat. Yeah, the little animatronic like start growling at him. I wish there was footage of that. That sounds fun.
We have 2 questions here. 3.
Grogu or Neo?
How dare you?
How can you choose between green and blue? Like, I want them both. It's like the lightsabers. You want to have both.
Grogu's like, you know, a baby or like a pet in a way, whereas like Neil's like, I don't know, like that sweet kid that you just want to care for and, you know, like want nothing to happen. I mean, I don't want anything to happen to Grogu. I just feel like I have that sense of Neil, yeah.
I'll pick Neil and I'll tell you why. Because Grogu can take care of himself.
Yeah.
Neil needs some. You're like Neil. I want to protect you.
Yeah.
You're right.
Like Grogu can protect me.
I was gonna say that Neil is what Grogu will be in the future, but actually not, because Grogu is much more like, I can handle myself.
For me, I think it's his little cone hairdo.
Yeah.
That really
Yeah.
Wow.
takes it over the edge.
Did you see the Neo cosplay today?
Yes, yes, oh, he was so good.
I saw them yesterday, yeah.
Neil's dad, Babar.
Do you ever see a Star Wars Ghost project, like the film or series? Because the Acolyte wasn't really horror.
Another High Republic project, is that what you're saying?
Horror.
Oh,
Oh, the horror project.
Oh, the horror. Oh,
Yeah, I heard about that
That's the
too.
rumor, right?
Yes. I believe that was a real conversation that was had. I don't know if I'm convinced that it's going to make it all the way through the greenlight process.
Yeah.
I hope it does, because we need to diversify Star Wars and have all these like micro genres and just like explore it in that way. I think it's a great idea. I feel like it might be a hard sell for a lot of, because Star Wars is so like, you know, younger audience oriented.
or adventures like.
But then again, that's not necessarily true, because look at Andor.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
Andor is like possibly the hottest thing right now.
Game Bar has never been more scary than in that show, or made me want to like go after than that show. So like, I think that's the next step. You want to keep the franchise fresh, you want to do a new flavor, do horror. And there's plenty of stuff to like get out of.
If we did do a horror, well, Avalon's right there.
There we go.
Right.
Yep.
What's that one book with like the
Edge Troopers.
There we go.
Edge Troopers. There's actually a fan-made game of Death Troopers. It's like a little shooter, like several levels. And you're a stormtrooper. You go onto a Star Destroyer, and there's just like zombie stormtroopers everywhere. And it's like a wave survival.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember that you played that game.
I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun. I'll check this out. It was fun. So stressful. Stressful game I've ever played. I think I have like gray ear hairs specifically for
Aren't stormtroopers like reanimated corpses? Isn't that kind
Yes.
of-
Well,
Yeah.
yes and no. I couldn't tell. I still can't tell exactly what was going on. I feel like they were humans that survived the crash, and as they died through the line of service, they were getting reanimated. So it was like half original alive and then half reanimated. It was in the troops. And then once they got slaughtered by Ahsoka and everyone, then there was a mass res, and they all came back.
You know what another horror could be, since we are basically talking about sort of a Alien Covenant but in Star Wars and stuff. We have rat bulls in your Republic.
Yeah, a rack
It could be,
zombie.
why not? And it could be an interesting, introduction of KOTOR or SOTOR. You know?
I think you could make a horror movie about the Rakata, personally.
Ooh.
Like if it was told from the perspective of like an undeveloped civilization on a planet, and then they get like conquered by the Rakata Empire, like that's pretty scary if you're like from the eyes on the ground and you don't know what's happening.
For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
For those of you that know, just like Rakata are a nation species, they create a lot of things, and we have this information. A Rakata movie or Rakata, let's say, it could be there could be some sort of a Indiana Jones adventure, discovering stuff to Rakata and how the Force was either discovered or used in other ways, and dark side, light side, whatever Jedi said. It could be interesting.
It's fully canon now too. Was referenced in both Andor and the Book of
True.
Boba.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, Luthen has a Rakatan artifact in his shop, and then they talk about the Rakatan Empire being responsible for glassing Tatooine.
And in Andor, in the episode that in Narkina 5, he's got arrested, and they ask him where do you have to go, because other prisoners they're sent to Belsavis, which is it's another sort of the Republic planet, and it's a secret base for the Republic where they put the worst criminals of the galaxy, and they keep a lot of secrets there. And guess what? It was created by the Rokaba, so there are even more secrets. It's really like Indiana Jones stuff for real.
We got.
Oh yeah, so many questions.
As a Star Wars fan, it's always exciting to see characters we've read about in books or comics transition into live action. I'm holding out hope for balance.
Yes.
So I feel, yes, it's been relegated to comics for its whole existence.
Henry Cavill, am I right?
Yes.
You're right.
I just feel like it makes the universe feel more cohesive. So this is to the panel. Do you have any characters you'd like to see like transition from publishing into
Also from comics into the big screen.
animation or live action?
No, please.
Yeah, I think I might actually say balance as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I've been really enjoying the Ethan Sacks Bounty Hunters line. He's an OG from 1977, the original Marvel Star Wars comics as well. And I have to say, I respect the hell out of Lucasfilm for taking this guy, making him so tough, so badass, and putting him in this cute little baby blue jumpsuit. Like he's rocking that thing with confidence. He's like, you don't want to mess with anyone dressed like that, with like half a Terminator face. He's wearing his cute little blue number. I'm all about it. I would have said Black Chrysanthemum. And then I got my wish and flip of Boba Fett. Maybe Dr. Afro.
Yes.
For Geo.
Geo story.
I want to see V. Morati from Galaxy X, like,
Yes.
like, I love that book so much. And again, we've talked about it, there's so much you can do with Batu and Black Star. And like, again, I want to see that in live action or in animation. Like, all right, it's not just the theme park element. Build it up, there's so much tapestry.
It's an opportunity just waiting to be utilized. Like, especially the Galaxy X track.
Yeah.
Like, they do so much with that. Captain Cardinal.
Cardinal.
Would be a good one too. I feel like you could do a really like intense, like Man in the High Castle type, like First Order show starring Cardinal. Like that would be amazing.
I was gonna say Afra because I love the memes for Hot Shot Pistoon as well. And I don't know, there are no, I don't remember if there is any connection between the two because there are so many comments. But yeah, the Afra for sure, absolutely.
If Afro comes back, we need Trip and BT. And I think we're all in agreement that Anthony Daniels has to come back as well. Like,
Oh wow, yeah.
just give him a chance to do a different take on the same protocol style. It would be fantastic.
Do we get Dash Rendar? We got Thrawn.
Yeah, you're right.
We need to do
Grand Admiral Dala. Yes, that's what I just heard over here. Absolutely on board with that too. Someone else.
I said Jackie.
Yes.
Sure, then black and red.
Do you think we'll ever get to see maybe like the Chief's Ascendants in live action?
You know what? If we're gonna see it, we're probably gonna see it soon, or at least have it referenced by Thrawn.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
I would like to see Ellie Banco.
Yes, Nearly by people would be awesome. Think that, like, for the casual audiences that haven't read a single Thrawn novel, like, they need to get at least a little bit of exposition of what he's all about, why he's in the Empire, why he's blue. You know, that's kind of a rare species because they're kind of outside of the known galaxies. You don't see a lot of them. So that might require some explanation. And if he's like, oh yeah, back in his ascendancy, blah, 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 like, can't there it is. Yeah, for House of Rookie.
There you go. I think Jackie had a question, right?
It's more of a general question, and it's for the people. What is it about Star Wars that inspires you to do what you all do? Whether it be content creation, cosplay, what makes you want to host a panel at Star Wars Celebration?
Well, Kyle, would you do the honors?
Yeah, I'll start with that. Good question. I feel like I am just on a lifelong quest of escapism. I'm trying to like enter the Star Wars galaxy as much as I can to stay there. I want to live in that space. And so, and my brain is just full of Star Wars. I have an incredible amount of knowledge, but I can barely tie my own shoes. Like you have to pick and choose these things. Like there's not a lot of room for other things up there.
Use Star Wars back for another life.
Something else leaves, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I know this plastic bottle can no longer balance a checkbook. Okay, trade off. But no, for me, it keeps me connected to my childhood and to my past, and also to my relationship, but specifically with my father, who took me to see Return of the Jedi when I was just under a year old. Pissed off everyone in the theater. I don't remember just did that for me so that I could stand here today and say, oh yeah, I saw Return of the Jedi.
I think I would say, you know, I was a casual fan, and Disney opened up the whole thing for it. And I love that it's so broad now. It felt like it was just kind of contained, and now it can be anything. I mean, we've got stories that don't even involve any force sensitive or any lightsabers, and it's just like, it's such a great universe, and I know that he just loves to talk about Star Wars, so
Guilty.
let's get up on the stage and talk about all the things that you love about Star Wars.
For the record, Hera signed us up for this panel, and I did not know about that until we were about to.
To me, it's just, as a kid, it was hard to make friends. And somehow, between Han, Luke, and Leia, and the X-Men, two groups took me in. And as I got older, I remember high school, I didn't like forego it, but I was growing up. And then I remember Rebels and Force Awakens was the juice to be like, oh, John, I'm just worried about paying my taxes and, you know, working in a cubicle. I was like, all right. And it's, to me, like we've been saying, it's the fact that now I get to have more friends. I get to have a chance to go to Japan and, you know, experience the culture and celebrate this as we see it. And as a kid, Han was always my favorite character as a kid. And then you get to 2015, and then you see this Guatemalan Cuban guy named Oscar Isaac in an X-Wing jumpsuit, and I was like, what? And then you get Pedro Pascal, and then you get Diego Luna, and you get Rosario Dawson. You know, I'm Latino, so to me, and not that I always need it, you know, to see myself go as at an age. At point you like,
Representation is important.
at a point, can I do this? And, you know, is there possibly one day that I want to be, you know, screw the Oscar, I want to be in Star Wars, man. Like, and seeing them now, I'm like, maybe one day I can convince someone to just give me a second to be part of that universe, and I could die happy.
Definitely appreciate all those strong female role models.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just the representation that we have these days, that so many people can see themselves in Star Wars is fantastic. You know, and to expand on what you're saying, I completely agree. Like, I was the Star Wars fan of my friends. Like, people would casually do, but no one was quite on my level. And so, like, the real answer to the question of why I do what I do is because it allows me to connect with other people who are like super Star Wars freaks like I am, that aren't around me in my environment in real life. And so it's a way for me to have that kinship with people that I can really nerd out with. Someone actually gets how I feel, you know? Like, I'm freaking out about something else, but I tell my friend, he's like, oh yeah, that sounds kind of cool, whatever. Like, you know, he likes it, but like, doesn't feel it in his heart the way I do. But like, being able to find those other people all around the world that like we can
And everybody can have their own Star Wars, you know, like some people it's just the Mandalorian, and I think that's great. I mean, I don't think anybody needs to say that you have to see everything in order to be a true Star Wars fan. And it's okay to have one pocket of it that you really connect with, and I think that's great. It opens up the opportunity to meet more people and just develop more connections.
I mean, if you're a fan, you're a fan, and no one can take that away from you, no matter how much or how little knowledge you have. If I didn't know anything about Star Wars, but except for this little Gonk toy figure, but I like this, Star Wars fan. There's no prerequisites to this.
That was definitely a thing with Grogu for sure.
Yes, Grogu opened the door for so many people, I think. And I think it acted as a great Trojan horse for a lot of people too, who were like, hey babe, check out the show, it's got a cute little puppet image. And now you snuck into the whole world of Star Wars. And suddenly you're watching like Clone Wars episodes. And
It was a similar experience to what every single one we just said, because I was lucky enough to have a group of friends, and one of those friends, when I was 6 or 7, he made me watch the VHS. Yes, I'm not millennial. And I grew up with that. So as an Italian, like Star Wars was very famous there as well. But there were no like super nerds group at that time, and I wasn't introduced. Like I wasn't very too much into comics. I was just glad that the movies were out there. And when I was 12 and I heard that the George was going to make the prequels, I was like, okay, that's an interesting coincidence because I can't wait to see those. And of course, I fell in love with that again, you know. And
how did you know?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I liked, and I never actually left, but I thought it was one thing, you know. And now, basically, for me, Star Wars is, as I grow older, it's becoming from escapism to a way to understand our reality, because we are we live in a galaxy far, far away, but it's not that long ago and I mean, look at Andor. It talks so much more about our times right now, without going to details. But yeah,
It's good. That's different.
yeah, it is different. It is different, you know. But yeah, I love Star Wars for this entertainment and understanding our reality.
So we are now coming to. Does anyone have a question? We can take one more question here.
I had, I don't want to take too much time, but it was a kind of two-part question.
Go for it, yeah.
For each of you, what is your favorite Star Wars movie and or TV show right now? I know it's a tough question. And then, living in Japan and being connected to Star Wars, do you think a lot more people have seen Star Wars? I've met so many Japanese that actually know Star Wars but never seen it. If you could recommend them to get into Star Wars, what would you recommend? Sorry. Two-part question.
It's like other important question, man.
I'm always going to recommend the first movie. I'm a huge release order guy. Like machete orders, all these different ways to watch them. I always think you should watch them in the order that they're released here, because that way you're guaranteed to catch every reference. Because they're always going to reference it that came out in the previous year. And if you go through like a chronological order, sometimes things will go over your head. And if I was trying to sell someone in Japan, I'd be like, it's Kurosawa in space.
Nice.
Like, throwing a blood on a random planet with like laser swords. What more do you need? You know, like, I think it's a pretty easy sell.
All right.
You just sit down and watch it.
The turning point for me from like more just kind of casual fans, just something who was really into it, was Rebels. And I know that even in the beginning you were trying to get me to watch Rebels, and I was like, whatever. But then I like really had to keep up. I was like, when's the next episode? And I think Rebels is a good suggestion to get yourself started, and then you can branch off from there.
To answer the TV show, Rebels for me too.
Cool.
Rebels for me too.
Awesome.
What are you running?
You took on my answer. Rebels was a big deal for me, but in terms of live action, and Ziggy Plug basically going to live action shows, Mandalorian was the thing that I've been looking for, because I was a weird kid. I grew up with like loving old movies, so I knew who Clint Eastwood was when they were referencing stuff. And so like the fact that they were willing to tackle that stuff meant a lot to me. And so I think Rebels is very near dear to my heart, but Mandalorian is the thing. Like, if you're not a fan, jump right into it. If you are a fan, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah. We are now officially a Rebels Only podcast.
For me, yes, just like Kat said, I grew up watching originals, then I watched the prequels, and blah blah blah, and following the rest. So I'll go with that, and especially because the technology changed a lot from the 70s till now, and Jones was a revolutionary. You know, understanding that I want to do those storytelling things, I need to create technology in order to do the cool stuff, because that's going to be even greater storytelling, you know. And what was the second question again?
If you could introduce someone who hasn't seen Star Wars, especially a Japanese person, in Japan, what would you?
In Japan, I think that I will stay with the original, because Obi-Wan is an old Jedi Knight explaining who are the Jedi Knights, and the fact that there is these like Kurosawa references. I think Japanese would say, oh, okay, I understand what George was trying to say. So yeah, absolutely that.
Yeah, probably Visions too. And, and the video games, I really liked the Jedi Fallen Order and Outlaws recently was really a lot of
Oh right, yeah, for the younger audience, it's the video games.
Explore on your own, just get,
Cool.
Mandalorian is literally Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah,
There's literally a shot of like that's literally Lone Wolf and Cub.
It's true.
I love that about it.
When you're talking live action Star Wars, you have to give the Mandalorian its flowers, because without the Mandalorian, we wouldn't have any of the other shows.
True.
And
Yeah.
without the Mandalorian being so successful at first, so like it's definitely it's a historical show.
And that music, Ludwig.
Yes. Oh my God, the soundtrack. is so
Yeah, music's
Go on, say
good. I never thought I'd rock out to a bass recorder. Fantastic. Now it is time for everybody's favorite segment, Gonk the Week. And it's not this one.
Seen a handful of Gonks.
There have been some great ones. There have been some great ones. There was a episode 1 style, EG6, that was here yesterday. I don't know how he was reading. The whole thing was like freaking close.
Yeah.
Now remember which one.
For all I know, he had a screen on the inside.
Okay.
Who knows? Who
Remember
knows?
the Gonk backpack with the legs sticking up? That was
Yes.
pretty great too. I went
Yes,
down a lot.
that one was great. But I think the crowning achievement film that I've seen so far. Would you mind coming up here? Show it up. Say to our live.
try to be me here. It's amazing.
Nice.
Fantastic. I'm a big fan of the weathering. The greebling is fantastic on this. Very creative with the legs too. Makes me think of like a Christmas story.
And the painting, it does look like it's being used, you know? Like, this guy has been through a lot of Star Wars wars. You know what I mean?
Also, and I'm dating myself with this reference to the SpongeBob movie with Patrick Star. He's doing guitar solo, has the fishnet legs, and he's out. Totally get that too. I'm gonna give a fair rating here. I'm gonna say 1138 out of 10. 1,138 points.
Give me a note from me.
We gonna go home?
Well, thank you so much for coming to us. Just about the end of our time here. This has been so much fun. I really didn't know what to expect doing a panel. Like I said, rushed into this. It's so much fun. I'm really glad we did this. I realized here that we all come from different places and different cultural backgrounds. And usually we wish everyone may the force be with you at the end of this thing, but I say we kind of diversify a little bit. How do you say may the force be with you in Italian?
Que la forza se combatte.
Love it. Spanish?
Que la fuerza sea con usted.
English?
The force be with you.
And because we're here in Japan, I would say, forza tomoni para todo.
I'm calling right now. This is the first of the many Dork Forces podcast house and Star Wars Celebration going forward. This is the way. This is the way.
And I will also say that we are the final podcast on a new stage today.
Yeah.
So,
We're Gonk. This is the way.
Good job. Nice work. That was great. Awesome.
Take
care, everybody.
Great.
Great panel.